The Concealed Cost. This story delves into the life of a successful entrepreneur, Tom Blake, who has built his wealth in the precious stones industry. Set against the backdrop of an underdeveloped African country, the narrative explores the moral dilemmas faced by Tom as he uncovers the exploitation of local workers. Inspired by the ancient African quote, "The bottom of wealth is sometimes a dirty thing to behold," the tale unfolds with emotional depth, leading to a poignant decision that could change lives. The accompanying podcast will discuss the morals of the story, emphasizing the importance of ethical practices and social responsibility. Tom Blake stood at the edge of his expansive office in New York City, gazing out at the skyline that glittered like the diamonds he sold. He had built his empire from the ground up, transforming a small family business into a multi-million-dollar enterprise. His success was a testament to hard work, determination, and a keen eye for opportunity. Yet, as he looked out over the city, a nagging feeling began to creep into his mind, a feeling he had long ignored. His company, Blake Gems, was renowned for sourcing the finest precious stones from Africa. The allure of these gems had captivated the world, and Tom had reaped the rewards. But as he prepared for a trip to the mines in the fictional country of Wayanga, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. Upon arriving in Wayanga, Thomas was greeted by the vibrant colors of the local markets, the sounds of laughter, and the warmth of the sun. However, as he ventured deeper into the countryside, the scenery shifted dramatically. The roads became rough, and the air grew heavy with the weight of unspoken stories. He arrived at the mining site, where he was met by a group of workers, their faces etched with exhaustion and despair. Among them was a young man named Korema, who had been working in the mine since he was a child. Korema's hands were calloused, and his eyes held a depth of sorrow that spoke volumes. As Tom observed the workers, he felt a pang of guilt. He had always viewed them as mere laborers, but now he saw them as human beings, each with their own dreams and struggles. "Welcome, Mr. Blake," Korema said, his voice barely above a whisper. "We are grateful for your business, but it is hard work. We often go without food, and the conditions are dangerous." Tom felt a lump form in his throat. He had heard rumors of poor working conditions, but seeing it firsthand was a different experience altogether. The reality of his business practices began to sink in. He had been so focused on profit that he had overlooked the human cost of his success. As the days passed, Tom spent more time with Korema and the other workers. He learned about their lives, their families, and their hopes for a better future. Korema spoke of his dream to become a teacher, to inspire the next generation, but he felt trapped in the mines. The more Tom listened, the more he realized that his wealth was built on the backs of these hardworking individuals. One evening, as the sun set over the horizon, casting a golden glow over the land, Tom sat with Korema by a small fire. The air was filled with the scent of roasted maize, and the sounds of laughter echoed in the distance. It was a moment of connection, a moment that would change everything. "Korema," Tom began, his voice trembling, "I never realized how much my business affects your life. I've been so focused on profits that I've ignored the people behind the stones." Korema looked at him, his expression a mix of surprise and hope. "It is not too late to change, Mr. Blake. You have the power to make a difference." Those words resonated deeply within Tom. He had always prided himself on being a savvy businessman, but now he faced a moral crossroads. Should he continue profiting from the exploitation of workers, or should he take a stand and make amends? The following days were filled with turmoil as Tom wrestled with his conscience. He met with local leaders, listened to their concerns, and began to understand the systemic issues that plagued the mining industry. He learned about the lack of fair wages, the dangerous working conditions, and the absence of basic human rights. As he prepared to return to New York, Tom made a decision that would alter the course of his life and his business. He would not only change the way he operated but also invest in the community. He envisioned a new model, one that prioritized the well-being of the workers and their families. Upon his return, Tom gathered his team and shared his vision. "We will implement fair wages, improve working conditions, and invest in education and healthcare for the communities we work in," he declared. His employees were taken aback, unsure of how to react. Some were skeptical, while others were inspired. As the months passed, Tom faced challenges. There were those who resisted change, fearing it would cut into profits. But he remained steadfast, driven by the faces of Korema and the other workers who had touched his heart. Slowly, the tide began to turn. The workers felt empowered, and their productivity increased as they saw the fruits of their labor being reinvested into their communities. Korema became a leader among the workers, advocating for their rights and helping to establish a cooperative that would give them a voice. Tom supported this initiative, providing resources and training to help the workers gain skills that would allow them to thrive. Years later, as Tom stood at the same office window overlooking the city, he felt a sense of peace wash over him. He had transformed his business into a force for good, one that uplifted the very people who had once been marginalized. The wealth he had built was no longer a dirty thing to behold, it was a testament to the power of compassion and change. Podcast discussion: The morals of the story. 1. The importance of ethical business practices. The story highlights the need for entrepreneurs to consider the impact of their actions on the communities they engage with. Ethical practices not only benefit the workers but also enhance the reputation of the business. 2. Empathy and human connection. Tom's journey emphasizes the significance of understanding the human stories behind the products we consume. Building relationships with workers fosters empathy and can lead to meaningful change. 3. The power of change. The narrative illustrates that it is never too late to change one's ways. Entrepreneurs have the ability to make a positive impact, and taking responsibility for past actions can lead to a brighter future for all involved. 4. Community empowerment. Investing in communities creates a cycle of growth and development. By empowering workers and providing them with opportunities, businesses can help break the cycle of poverty and create sustainable change.